Thank you for being here, and welcome to the second annual Acton-Boxborough Poetry Out Loud Student Poetry Recitation Competition. I hesitate in calling it a competition. I'd rather call it a reveling in wonderful words or wonderful poetry, because the poetry that I've heard leading up to this is absolutely terrific, and that's what we're here to do today, is to enjoy the poetry. I think the student reciters are probably a little bit stressed, so I would just encourage you to breathe deeply. You know your poems. And if you don't know your poems, Mrs. Talicki is here to help you. She's in the front row. She is our accuracy judge and prompter. So if you're up here and you're reciting and you draw a blank, all you need to do is make eye contact with Mrs. Talicki, and she will give you a couple of words to prompt you along your way. Okay? So I want to thank everyone who's here today, and especially our special judges. We have returning Mrs. Fran Hearn. We got her out of retirement to come back and judge Poetry Out Loud, so thank you, Mrs. Hearn. We have a current teacher at AB, Ms. Liz Walker, so thank you, Liz. We have Mrs. Joan Wennington, who's here out of retirement too, so she came back. She participated in this last year and was overjoyed, I think, to come back to hear the poetry. Absolutely. And also helping us is Ms. Hirschfield and Ms. Kennedy. So they're back there. They're the computers in the group. So thank you very much for everyone who's helped out today. Okay. There will be 2 rounds of recitations today. You have a program. You can follow down the columns and see which student will be reciting and the name of the poem and the poet. The winner will go on to represent Acton-Boxborough in the next semifinal state round. And from that, the students have to have 3 poems prepared, 1 more than the 2 they have to have prepared today. And we will have a winner and a runner-up today. In case the winner can't fulfill his or her requirements, the runner-up will step in and be prepared for that. So I will introduce each student, who in turn will come up here, state the name of the poem and the poet, and start the recitation. So in anticipation of that, I would ask that everyone silence your cell phones, and I would ask that you turn them off totally so they don't buzz and distract our students. And if you have to leave, I would ask that you wait to do it between recitations, and the same for coming back in. Wait to make sure that a student is not reciting when you can peek in the window, or you can hear and listen and make sure that the student is not reciting as you enter. Okay? Somebody trying to get in? Just in time. Okay. So, without further ado, I would like us to please enjoy the poetry, and we will start off with Brendan Hennessy.
Dirge Without Music by Edna St. Vincent Millay. I am not resigned to the shutting away of loving hearts in the hard ground. So it is, and so it will be, for so it has been time out of mind. Into the darkness they go, the wise and the lovely. Crowned with lilies and with laurel they go. But I am not resigned. Lovers and thinkers, into the earth with you. Be one with the dull, the indiscriminate dust. A fragment of what you felt, of what you knew. A formula, a phrase remains, but the best is lost. The answers quick and keen, the honest look, the laughter, the love, they are gone. They are gone to feed the roses. Elegant and curled is the blossom, fragrant is the blossom. I know, but I do not approve. More precious was the light in your eyes than all the roses in the world. Down, down, down into the darkness of the grave. Gently they go, the beautiful, the tender, the kind. Quietly they go, the intelligent, the witty, the brave. I know. But I do not approve. And I am not resigned. Thank you.
Catch a Little Rhyme by ABRHS. Once upon a time, I caught a little rhyme. I set it on the floor, but it ran right out the door. I chased it on my bicycle, but it melted to an icicle. I scooped it up in my hat, but it turned into a cat. I caught it by the tail, but it stretched into a whale. I followed it in a boat, but it turned into a goat. When I fed it tin and paper, it became a tall skyscraper. Then it grew into a kite and flew far out of sight. Thank you.
Words by Barbara Guest. The simple contact with a wooden spoon and the word covered itself began to spread as grass, forced as it lay sprawling to consider the monument where patience looked at grief, where warfare ceased, eyes curled outside beams to search, the paper now gleaming and potent. Wise and resilient, word entered its continent, eager to find another as capable as a thorn. The nearest possession would house them both. They, being then two, might glide into this house and presently create a rather larger mansion filled with spoons and condiments, gracious as a newly laid table where related objects might gather to enjoy the interplay of gravity upon facetious hints. The chocolate dish, presuming an endowment. The ladle of galactic rhythm, primed as a relish dish. Curved knives, finger bowls, morsel carriages, words might choose and savor before swallowing, so much was the sumptuousness and substance of a rented house, where words placed dressing gowns as rosemary entered their scent, percipient as elder branches in the night, where words gathered, worked, then straightened, marking new wands. Thank you.
Burning the Old Year by Naomi Shihab Nye. Letters swallow themselves in seconds. Notes, friends tied to the doorknob, transparent scarlet paper sizzle like moth wings, marry the air. So much of any year is flammable. Lists of vegetables, partial poems, orange swirling flame of days. So little is a stone. Where there was something, and suddenly isn't, an absence shouts, celebrates, leaves a space. I begin again with the smallest numbers. Quick dance, shuffle of losses and leaves. Only the things I didn't do crackle after the blazing dies.
Dirge Without Music by Edna St. Vincent Millay. I am not resigned to the shutting away of loving hearts in the hard ground. So it is, and so it will be, for so it has been, time out of mind. Into the darkness they go, the wise and the lovely. Crowned with lilies and with laurel they go. but I am not resigned. Lovers and thinkers, into the earth with you, be one with the dull, the indiscriminate dust. A fragment of what you felt, of what you knew, a formula, a phrase remains, but the best is lost. The answers, quick and keen, the honest look, the laughter, the love, they are gone. They are gone to feed the roses. Elegant and curled is the blossom, fragrant is the blossom, I know, but I do not approve. More precious was the light in your eyes than all the roses in the world. Down, down, down into the darkness of the grave. Gently they go, the beautiful, the tender, the kind. Quietly they go, the intelligent, the witty, the brave. I know, but I do not approve, and I am not resigned.
Kubla Khan by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately, pleasure-domed decree, but Alf, the sacred river, ran through caverns, measureless to man, down to a sunless sea. So twice 5 miles of fertile ground, with walls and towers were girdled round, and there were gardens bright, with sinuous rills, where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree. And here were forests, ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. But oh, that deep, romantic chasm which slanted down the green hill athwart a cedarn cover, a savage place, as holy and enchanted as ere beneath a waning moon was haunted by woman, wailing for her demon lover. And from this chasm with ceaseless turmoil seething, as if this earth in fast, thick pants were breathing, a mighty fountain momently was forced, amid whose swift half-intermitted burst huge fragments vaulted like rebounding hail, or chaffy grain beneath the thresher's flail. And mid these dancing rocks, at once and ever, it flung up, momently, the sacred river. 5 miles meandering with amazing motion, through wood and dale the sacred river ran, then reached the caverns, measureless to man, and sank in tumult to a lifeless ocean. And mid this tumult, Kubla heard from far ancestral voices prophesying war. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway on the waves, where was heard the mingled measure from the fountain and the caves. It was a miracle, rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. A damsel with a dulcimer, in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played, singing of Mount Abora. Could I revive within me her symphony and song to such a deep delight? 'Twould win me, that with music loud and long I would build that dome in air, that sunny dome, those caves of ice, and all who heard should see them there, and all should cry, beware, beware, his flashing eyes, his floating hair. Weave a circle around him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honey dew hath fed, and drunk the milk of paradise. Thank you.
Ego by Denise DeMille. I just didn't get it. Even with the teacher holding an orange, the earth in one hand, and a lemon, the moon, in the other, and her favorite student, the sun, standing behind her with a flashlight, I just couldn't grasp it. This whole citrus universe, these bumpy planets revolving so slowly, no one could even see themselves moving. I used to think if I could only concentrate hard enough, I could be the one person to feel what no one else could. Sense a tug from the ground, a sky shift, the earth changing gears. Even though I was only one mini speck on a speck. Even though I was merely a pinprick in one goosebump on the orange. I was sure then I was the most specially perceptive, perceptively sensitive. I was sure then my mother was the only mother to snap, the world doesn't revolve around you. The earth was fragile and mostly water. Just the way the orange was mostly water if you peeled it. And just the way I was mostly water if you peeled me. Looking back on that third grade science demonstration, I can understand why some people gave up on fame or religion or cures, especially people who have an understanding of the excruciating crawl of the world, who have a well-developed sense of spatial reasoning and the tininess that it is to be one of us. But not me. Even now, I wouldn't mind being God, the force who spins the planets the way I spin a globe, a basketball, a yo-yo. I wouldn't mind being that teacher who chooses the fruit, or that favorite student who gives the moon its glow. Thank you.
Beautiful Wreckage by W.D. Earhart. What if I didn't shoot the old lady running away from our patrol? Or the old man in the back of the head? Or the boy in the marketplace? Or what if the boy, but he didn't have a grenade? And the woman in Hue didn't lie in the rain in a mortar pit with 7 Marines just for food. Gaffney didn't get hit in the knee. Ames didn't die in the river. Ski didn't die in a medevac chopper between Con Tien and Da Nang. In Vietnamese, Con Tien means place of angels. What if it really was, instead of the place of rotting sandbags, incoming heavy artillery, rats, and mud? What if the angels were Ames and Ski, or the lady, the man, and the boy, and they lifted Gaffney out of the mud and healed his shattered knee? What if none of it happened the way I said? Would it all be a lie? Would the wreckage be suddenly beautiful? Would the dead rise up and walk?
One Art by Elizabeth Bishop. The art of losing isn't hard to master. So many things seem filled with the intent to be lost that their loss is no disaster. Lose something every day, except the fluster of lost door keys, the hour badly spent. The art of losing isn't hard to master. Then, practice losing farther, losing faster, places and names and where it was you meant to travel. None of these will bring disaster. I lost my mother's watch. And look, my last, or next to last, of 3 loved houses went. The art of losing isn't hard to master. I lost 2 cities, lovely ones, and vaster, some realms I owned, 2 rivers, a continent. I miss them, but it wasn't a disaster. Even losing you, the joking voice, a gesture I love, I shan't have lied. It's evident, the art of losing's not too hard to master. Though it may look like, write it, like disaster. Thank you.
The Charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death, rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade! Charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death, rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade! Was there a man dismayed? Not, though the soldier knew someone had blundered. Theirs not to make reply, theirs not to reason why, theirs but to do and die. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them volleyed and thundered. Stormed at with shot and shell, boldly they rode and well. Into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell rode the 600. Flashed all their sabers bare, flashed as they turned in air, sabering the gunners there, charging an army, while all the world wondered. Plunged into battery smoke, right through the line they broke. Cossack and Russian reeled from the saber stroke, shattered and sundered. Then they rode back, but not the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon behind them volleyed and thundered. Stormed at with shot and shell, while horse and hero fell, they that had fought so well came through the jaws of death, back from the mouth of hell. All that was left of them, left of 600. When can their glory fade? Oh, the wild charge they made! All the world wondered. Honor the charge they made. Honor the Light Brigade. Noble 600. Thank you.
Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit, from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, And yet, the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Thank you.
Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night by Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words have forked no wisdom, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, near death. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Grave men, near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men, who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears. I pray, do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Thank you.
It Couldn't Be Done by Edgar Albert Guest. Somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he tried. So he buckled right in with the trace of a grin on his face. If he worried, he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled that thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody scoffed, "Oh, you'll never do that. At least no one ever has done it." But he took off his coat, and he took off his hat, and the first thing we knew, he'd begun it. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quit it, he started to sing as he tackled that thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. There are thousands to tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands to point. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you one by one the dangers that wait to assail you. But just buckle in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just starting to sing as you tackle that thing that cannot be done, and you'll do it. Thank you.
A Locked House by W.D. Snodgrass. As we drove back, crossing the hills, the house still hidden in the trees, I always thought, a fool's fear, that it might have caught fire. Someone could have broken in. Yet, we always found it locked tight, safe and sound. I mentioned that once as a joke. No doubt we spoke of the absurdity to fear some dour god's jealousy of our good fortune. From the farm next door, our neighbors saw no harm came to the things we cared for here. Maybe I should have thought. All such things rot, fall, barns, houses, furniture. We two are stronger than we were apart. We've grown together. We know what counts, some such idea. We said as much. We'd watched friends driven to betray, felt that love drained away some self they need. We'd said love, like a growth, can feed on hate we turn in and disguise. We warned ourselves that you might despise me, hate all we both loved best. None of us ever guessed. The house still stands locked as it stood untouched a good 2 years after you went. Some things passed in settlement, some things slipped away. Enough's left that I come back sometimes. The theft and vandalism were our own. Maybe we should have known.
No Coward Soul is Mine by Emily Jane Bronte. No coward soul is mine, no trembler in the world's storm-troubled sphere. I see heaven's glories shine, and faith shines equal, arming me from fear. O God within my breast, almighty, ever-present deity, life that in me hast rest, as I, undying life, have power in thee. Vain are the 1,000 creeds that move men's hearts, unutterably vain, worthless as withered weeds, or idlest froth amid the boundless main. To waken doubt in one, holding so fast by thy infinity, so surely anchored on the steadfast rock of immortality. With wide, embracing love, thy spirit animates eternal years, pervades and broods above, changes, sustains, dissolves, creates, and rears. Though earth and moon were gone, and suns and universes ceased to be, and thou wert left alone, every existence would exist in thee. There is not room for death, nor atom that his might could render void, since thou art being and breath, and what thou art may never be destroyed. Thank you.
The Good Morrow by John Donne. I wonder, by my troth, what thou and I did till we loved. Were we not weaned till then, but sucked on country pleasures childishly? Or snorted we in the 7 sleepers' den? 'Twas so, but this all pleasures fancies be. If ever any beauty I did see, that I desired and got, 'twas but a dream of thee. And now good morrow to our waking souls, which watch not one another out of fear. For love all love of other sights controls, and makes one little room and everywhere. Let sea discoverers to new worlds have gone. Let maps to other worlds on worlds have shown. Let us possess one world. Each hath one and is one. My face in thine eye, thine in mine appears, and true plain hearts do in the faces rest. Where can we find 2 better hemispheres, without sharp north, without declining west? Whatever dies was not mixed equally. If our 2 loves be one, or thou and I love so alike that none do slacken, none can die.
The Arrow and the Song by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. I shot an arrow into the air. It fell to earth, I knew not where. For so swiftly it flew, the sight could not follow it in its flight. I breathed a song into the air. It fell to earth, I knew not where. For who has sight so keen and strong that it can follow the flight of song? Long, long afterward, in an oak, I found the arrow, still unbroke, and the song from beginning to end I found again in the heart of a friend. Thank you.
And Soul by Evan Boland. My mother died one summer, the wettest in the records of the state. Crops rotted in the west, checked tablecloths dissolved in back gardens, empty deck chairs collected rain. As I took my way to her, through traffic, through lilacs dripping blackly behind houses and on curbsides, to pay her the last tribute of a daughter, I thought of something I remembered I heard once, that the body is, or is said to be, almost all water. And as I turn southward, that ours is a city of it, one in which every single day the elements begin a journey towards each other that will never, given our weather, fail. The ocean visible in the edges cut by it, cloud color reaching into air, the Liffey storing one and summoning the other, salt greeting the lack of it at the north wall, and, as if that wasn't enough, all of it ending up almost every evening inside our speech. Coast, canal, ocean, river, stream. And now, mother. And I drove on, and although the mind is unreliable in grief, at the next cloudburst, it almost seemed they could be shades of each other, the way the body is of every one of them. And now, they were on the move again. Fog into mist, mist to sea spray, and both into the oily glaze.
The Canonization by John Donne. For God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love, or chide my palsy or my gout, my 5 gray hairs or ruined fortune flout. With wealth your state, your mind with arts improve. Take you a course, get you a place, observe his honor or his grace, or the king's real or his stamped face contemplate. What you will, approve, so you will let me love. Alas, alas, who's injured by my love? What merchant ships have my sighs drowned? Who says my tears have overflowed his ground? When did my colds a forward spring remove? When did the heats which my veins fill add one more to the plaguey bill? Soldiers find wars, and lawyers find out still litigious men which quarrels move, though she and I do love. Call us what you will, we are made such by love. Call her one, me another fly, we're tapers too, and at our own cost die. And we, in us, find the eagle and the dove. The phoenix riddle hath more wit by us. We two, being one, are it. So to one neutral thing both sexes fit. We die and rise the same and prove mysterious by this love. We can die by it, if not live by love. And if unfit for tombs and hearse our legend be, it will be fit for verse. And if no piece of chronicle we prove, we'll build in sonnets pretty rooms. As well, a well-wrought urn becomes the greatest ashes as half-acre tombs, and by these hymns all shall approve us canonized for love. And thus invoke us, you whom reverent love made one another's hermitage. You to whom love was peace that now is rage, who did the whole world's soul contract and drove into the glasses of your eyes. So made such mirrors and such spies that they did all to you epitomize. Countries, towns, courts, beg from above a pattern of your love.
Heaven by Kathy Song. He thinks when we die, we'll go to China. Think of it, a Chinese heaven, where, except for his blonde hair, the part that belongs to his father, everyone will look like him. China, that blue flower on the map, bluer than the sea, his hand must span like a bridge to reach it, an octave away. I've never seen it. It's as if I can't sing that far. But look, on the map, this black dot, here is where we live. On the pancake plains just east of the Rockies, on the other side of the clouds. A mile above the sea, the air is so thin you can starve on it. No bamboo trees, but the alpine equivalent, reedy aspen with light, fluttering leaves. Did a boy in Guangzhou dream of this as his last stop? I've heard the trains at night, whistling past our yards, what we've come to own. The broken fences, the whiny dog, the rattle-trap cars. It's still the Wild West, mean and grubby, the shootouts and fistfights in the back alley. With my son, the dreamer, and my daughter, who is too young to walk, I've sat in this spot and wondered, why here? Why in this short life, this town, this creek they call a river? He had never planned to stay. The boy who helped to build the railroads for $1 a day. He had always meant to go back. When did he finally know that each mile of track led him further away, that he would die in his sleep, dispossessed? Having seen Gold Mountain, the icy wind tunneling through it, these landlocked makeshift ghost towns. It must be in the blood, this notion of returning. It skipped 2 generations, lay fallow, the garden an unmarked grave. On a spring sweater day, it's as if we remember him. I call to the children. We can see the mountains shimmering blue above the air. If you look really hard, says my son the dreamer, leaning out from the laundry's rigging, the work shirts fluttering like sails. You can see all the way to heaven. Thank you.
Israfel by Edgar Allan Poe. In heaven a spirit doth dwell, whose heartstrings are a lute. None sings so wildly well as the angel Israfel, and the giddy stars, so legends tell, ceasing their hymns, attend the spell of his voice, O mute. Tottering above in her highest noon, the enamored moon blushes with love, while to listen the red levin, with the rapid Pleiades even, which were seven, pauses in heaven. And they say, the starry choir and the other listening things, that Israfeli's fire is owing to that lyre by which he sits and sings, the trembling, living wire of those unusual strings. But the skies that angel trod were deep thoughts, or a duty, where love's a grown-up God, where the hoary glances are imbued with all the beauty which we worship in a star. Therefore, thou art not wrong, Israfeli, who despisest an unimpassioned song. To thee the laurels belong, best bard because the wisest. Merrily live and long. The ecstasy is above, with thy burning measure suit, thy grief, thy joy, thy hate, thy love, with the fervor of thy lute. Well, may the stars be mute. Yes, heaven is thine, but this is a world of sweets and sours. Our flowers are merely flowers, and the shadow of thy perfect bliss is the sunshine of ours. If I could dwell where Israfel hath dwelt, and he were I, he might not sing so wildly well a mortal melody, while a bolder note than this might swell from my lyre within the sky. Thank you.
The Way It Sometimes Is by Henry Taylor. At times, it's like trying to remember a face you just met, trying to decide who it reminds you of. No one surely whom you've ever hated or loved, but yes, somebody, you watch the face. As it turns and nods, showing you at certain angles a curve of the lips or a lift of the eyebrow, that is exactly right. And still the lost face eludes you. Now this face is talking, and you hear a sound in the voice, the accent on certain words. Yes, a phrase. You barely recall sitting outside by a pool or a campfire, remarking a peculiar, reoccurring expression. 2 syllables. Wasn't it doorknob, bathroom, Shawcross? The hell kind of word is Shawcross? A name, not the right one. A couple of syllables that could possibly be a little like something you may once have heard. So the talk drifts, and you drift, sneaking glances, pounding your brain. Days later, a face occurs to you, and yes, there is a resemblance. That odd word, though, or phrase is gone. it must have been somebody else. Yes, it's like that at times. Something is, maybe. And there are days when you can almost say what it is. Thank you.
The Last Laugh by Wilfred Owen.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm hit!
He said, and died. Whether he vainly cursed or prayed indeed, the bullets chirped, in vain, vain, vain! Machine guns chuckled, tut-tut, tut-tut, and the big gun guffawed. Another sighed, "Oh, mother, mother, dad!" Then smiled at nothing, childlike, being dead. And the lofty shrapnel cloud leisurely gestured, fool, and the falling splinters tittered. "My love!" one moaned. Love languid seemed his mood, till, slowly lowered, his whole face kissed the mud, and the bayonet's long teeth grinned. Rabbles of shells hooted and groaned, and the gas hissed.
In a London Drawing Room by George Eliot. The sky is cloudy, yellowed by the smoke. For view, there are the houses opposite. Cutting the sky with one long line of wall like solid fog, far as the eye can stretch, monotony of surface and of form without a break to hang a guess upon. No bird can make a shadow as it flies, for all is shadow, as in ways o'erhung by thickest canvas, where the brightest rays are clothed in hemp. No figure lingering pauses to feed the hunger of the eye or rest a little on the lap of life. All hurry on and look upon the ground or glance unmarking at the passers-by. The wheels are hurrying too. Cabs, carriages, all closed in multiplied identity. The world seems one huge prison house and court where men are punished at the slightest cost with lowest rate of color, warmth, and joy. Thank you.
It Couldn't Be Done by Edgar Albert Guest. Somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he, with a chuckle, replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he tried. So he buckled right in with the trace of a grin on his face. If he worried, he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody scoffed, "Oh, you'll never do that. At least no one ever has done it." But he took off his coat and he took off his hat, and the first thing we knew, he'd begun it. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quitting, he started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. There are thousands to tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you, one by one, the dangers that wait to assail you. But just buckle in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just starting to sing as you tackle the thing that cannot be done, and you'll do it. Thank you.
Richard Cory by Edwin Arlington Robinson. Whenever Richard Cory went downtown, we people on the pavement looked at him. He was a gentleman from soul to crown, clean-favored and imperially slim. He was always quietly arrayed. He was always human when he talked. But still, he fluttered pulses when he said, "Good morning," and he glittered when he walked. And he was rich. Yes, richer than a king, and admirably schooled in every grace. In fine, we thought that he was everything, to make us wish that we were in his place. So on we worked, and waited for the light, and went without the meat, and cursed the bread. And Richard Cory, one calm summer night, went home and put a bullet through his head. Thank you.
The Gift by Lee Young Lee. To pull the metal splinter from my palm, my father recited a story in a low voice. I watched his lovely face and not the blade. Before the story ended, he'd removed the iron sliver I thought I'd die from. I can't remember the tale, but hear his voice still. A well of dark water, a prayer. And I recall his hands, 2 measures of tenderness he laid against my face, the flames of discipline he raised above my head. Had you entered that afternoon, you would have thought you saw a man planting something in a boy's palm, a silver tear, a tiny flame. Had you followed that boy, you would have arrived here, where I bend over my wife's right hand. Look how I shave her thumbnail down so carefully she feels no pain. Watch as I lift the splinter out. I was 7 when my father took my hand like this, and I did not hold that splinter between my fingers and think, metal that will bury me. Christen it little assassin, or going deep for my heart. And I did not lift up my wound and cry, death visited here. I did what a child does when he's given something to keep. I kissed my father. Thank you.
The Children's Hour. The Children's Hour by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Between the dark and the daylight, when the night is beginning to lower, comes a pause in the day's occupations that is known as the Children's Hour. I hear in the chamber above me the patter of little feet, the sound of a door that is opened, and voices soft and sweet. From my study I see in the lamplight, descending the broad hall stair, grave Alice and laughing Allegra, and Edith with golden hair. A whisper, and then a silence. Yet I know by their merry eyes, they are plotting and planning together to take me by surprise. A sudden rush from the stairway, a sudden rage from the hall. By 3 doors left unguarded, they enter my castle wall. They climb up into my turret, over the arms and the back of my chair. If I try to escape, they surround me. They seem to be everywhere. They almost devour me with kisses, their arms about me entwine, till I think of the Bishop of Bingen in his mouse tower on the Rhine. Do you think, O blue-eyed banditti, Because you have scaled the wall, such an old mustache as I am is not a match for you all. I have you fast in my fortress, and will not let you depart, but put you down into the dungeon in the round tower of my heart. And there will I keep you forever, yes, forever and a day, until the walls shall crumble to ruin and molder in dust away. Thank you.